हेलो, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। जी सर, क्लास के लिए नहीं ले सकते? नहीं, नहीं बोलो। वेरी गुड। Very good afternoon, dear student. I hope I am audible. If I am audible, please type yes in the chat box so that I may continue with my class. Okay, I suppose I am audible. Let me continue. Today we'll be talking about. Just a sec. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm audible now. So today we are going to study about the natural resources. This is the continuation of unit number 2. Today we'll be talking about energy. So the content of today's lecture goes like this. The flow will be like this. Energy resources. We'll be talking about the growing energy needs. Then we'll be talking about the sources of energy. We'll be talking about the solar energy. Okay, wind energy, tidal energy, and OT today. Then there is hydropower. Then we have nuclear energy, and then we have another sources of various sources of other energy. I'll be talking about that in the tomorrow's class. So let's begin our class with energy resource. We know the energy resource of a nation is basically being termed, or it has been considered as an index of its development. This I have told you in the previous class also. Ki if we are having more of mineral resources, so we have been called as a rich nation, isn't it? So in the same way, basically, if we have energy resources also more, so we'll be termed or will be called as a developed country or developing country, depending upon the amount of energy resources which we have and which we consume. So, why this has been the reason for calling the or associating the energy with the development, because almost all of the development activities they basically they are dependent directly or indirectly onto the energy. Okay, and we have find a really very large amount of disparity per capita energy which is being used between the developed and the developing nation. And we know we have used this energy form of energy since the beginning, you know, since stone age, from the time when we have started, or when the primitive man started using fire, and he used to produce heat, and then he used to cook his food. So since then the first form of energy was being like talked about. Okay, so you should know the first form of energy is nothing but the fire. ठीक है, it is nothing but the fire. Fire is the first form of energy. and it started in the Stone Age only. So we have been using the wind, the hydropower, the solar energy since beginning. We have been using the solar energy for the drying up of things, then wind energy, then you can say the other form of energy, that is the water energy for traveling, for transportation. And after the invention of the steam engine that basically replaced the burning of wood with the coal, so after this, in the year, I suppose you can say in the year 1970s, so the revolution was like of oil. So slowly and steadily, the revolution of energy, it gained up momentum after the steam engine was being invented. Okay, so the growing energy needs is very much like a need of our development in different sector basically relies upon the energy, right? And agriculture industries hai, mining hai, transportation hai, cooling, heating, lighting, in any of the building it all requires energy. So since the demand is been increasing, why demand is been increasing? Because the population has been increasing. तो जितनी ज़्यादा population होगी उतनी ज़्यादा demand बढ़ेगी. So because of this, the world is facing energy. Uh, net, energy has been less or population has been more, and because of this the price has also been escalating. Okay, so we know if we are being dependent upon fossil fuel to the greater extent. So fossil fuel like coal, oil, natural gas, they are being like there, है ना? And they are the one who are being commercially used at domestic level, and commercially they are also being used, and that has been changing our lifestyle. So since our lifestyle has been changing, so we have been more dependent upon energy. So if you wanted to have a luxurious lifestyle, we need to be more dependent upon energy. So there are countries like USA, Canada, so they basically consume the maximum energy. Okay, and there are countries Bahrain, Qatar, they are rich in oil. Their energy consumption is also more, but they are not that, you can say, they are still developing. Developed nahi hui, they are under development. So we need to be very much careful in using the energy resources, because I told you right now that we have been dependent more on the renewable source, non-renewable sources of energy like coal, petroleum, natural gas, so on and so forth. And if we just keep on exploiting the energy with this rate, then there will be a time that we won't be left with energy. So we need to think meticulously. Then we need to arrange the things in such a way so that this energy, which may be extinguished or which may like finish off within few years of span of time, can be like stressed for more years to come. Okay, so let's talk about the sources of energy. This has been very much known to you. We have two different types of sources, and basically, a source of energy is nothing but it is that form which can provide adequate amount of energy which can be used over a longer period of time. So, on that definition, we can classify the sources of energy as renewable sources of energy and non-renewable sources of energy. So there are two type. हाँ, ये आपने पढ़ा है आपके फर्स्ट ईयर में या फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर या सेकंड सेमेस्टर में. So what are renewable sources of energy which can be generated continuously in nature and it is inexhaustible. So this is known to you. This is known to you. Examples आप इसमें आप बोल सकते हैं. For example, I am been using the word wood, right? Then I can use the word solar energy. ठीक है. Solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, biomass energy, then you can say geothermal, hydrogen, so on and so forth. So they are also known as non-conventional sources of energy. You may write it down somewhere. They're also been termed as non-conventional source of energy. They're also been termed as non-conventional source of energy. ठीक है, तो ये आप याद रखेंगे. Then when we talk about non-renewable sources of energy, so they basically have been accumulated in in nature over a very long span of time, and you cannot quickly replenish it when it becomes when it gets exhausted. Okay, सो एग्जाम्पल आप इसको आपको मालूम है, इट इज नथिंग बट कोल एंड पेट्रोल एंड क्रूड पेट्रोल, right? Crude petroleum oil. Okay, fine. So, wood is a renewable source of energy. I have used this word wood as a renewable source of energy because we can grow it. No doubt, it requires roughly 15 to 20 years. But this non-renewable energy, we cannot spend millions of years for its. You can say you cannot regrow it actually. Fine. So it is non-renewable, and then we'll be using the word here conventional sources of energy. ऊपर वाला नॉन कन्वेंशनल हो गया तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, कन्वेंशनल, conventional sources of energy. Okay, sources of energy, right? So let us what we are going to study today will be the heading under renewable energy sources like solar energy, wind energy, then tidal energy, and so on and so forth. Okay, so renewable sources of energy in terms of solar energy. So what we know about solar energy is that कि sun is the ultimate sources of energy. Again, directly or indirectly आप उसका इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. So we also know that nuclear fusion reaction is basically been happening, or it is occurring inside the sun, and it has been releasing a very large quantities of energy in the form of heat and light. So energy आती है किस form में आती है, it is in the form of heat and light, heat and light, right? So we get all the sun, or we get all this energy from the sun. So the solar energy is being received by the earth, and on earth, all the human beings or the plants, the animals, the water bodies, or you can say the in fact the object also, they what they absorb the solar energy. And अगर हम सोचेंगे पुरानी बात देखेंगे तो we have been using solar energy since so long. We used to dry our clothes, है ना, we used to dry the food grains. The food grains are like, they are like in presence of sunlight only, they are like they ripened up. Okay, then we do the preservation of eatables. No, we make achar, we make papad, no, murabba. All is been done in the presence of sunlight. So sun is nothing but a very good source of energy. It is free of cost. So nowadays several techniques are being used to hasten hastening of solar energy. So we are using solar energy since Stone Age. Now we have been using solar energy as solar heat collector, solar cell, solar cooker, solar water heater, solar furnace, then solar power plant. Fine. Now let us talk about one by one. एक एक दो दो लाइन में मैं इसके बारे में बात करूंगी. You know more than me, huh? I'm just trying to compile all the data which you have in your memory at one place. So what basically is solar heat collectors? These heat collectors can be active and passive in nature. है ना? Active and passive. They can be active or passive. See, everything has not been possible to write down here, so I've just listed down the important points here. I'm just elaborating all these points. So these basically are active or passive in nature. Actually, passive solar heater collectors are natural materials, like you can say the stones. Just a second. The stones, right? So what they do, they take up all the um, stone हुआ, brick हुआ, buildings हुई. So they basically, what they do, they absorb the heat during the daytime and it releases during the night time, है ना? So that is basically nothing but passive, you can say, heat collectors. And what are active heat solar heat collectors? These are basically the pumps actually, which collects the heat from the air or water. Okay, and which is being placed on the top of the building. So they collect the heat which is being absorbed by the air. Heat absorbed by air. It absorbed by air. Okay, fine. So we have all solar heat collectors here, either active or passive. Let's talk about solar cell. This is this. So they are also known as photovoltaic cell, na PV cell. They're also known as PV cell. So solar cell are basically being made up of very thin layers of semiconductor material like silicon and germanium. SiN, silicon and germanium, right? Fine. And we know what happens when the sun radiation falls on them. So a difference is being created between the flow of electrons, and it produces the the electricity. And silica is basically, or silicon is being obtained in or obtained from sand, right? ना, ये सैंड में से आपको मिलता है, so which is very much abundant, and it is inexpensive actually. And small number of solar cell is being joined in very different patterns in order to make a solar panel. Excuse me. And the solar panel basically have the ability to hasten a very large amount of solar energy, and that can be used to produce enough of energy to run the irrigation water pump or to run the street light. Okay. So solar cell are basically being used for n numbers of you can say it is used at n numbers of places. We have used it in calculator, na? Then electronic watches, then street lights. Nowadays, all the traffic signals have been like they have been working on this solar panels, then water pumps, so on and so forth. So they are also being used in you can say the artificial satellites for electricity generation. Fine. Okay. So let's talk about the solar cooker. You have studied about this in your previous grades. So what is solar cooker? It is nothing but it is a cooker which is being used, or which uses basically the solar heat by reflecting the solar radiation using a mirror directly on a glass sheet. Right. So we can easily cook the food with this help of, we can make dal and chawal here, and we can do other cooking as well. But this is a very you can say, hey, this is a very good part, no doubt. But very slow cooking takes place here. Okay. So we need to be dependent upon the sun rays, and it has to be adjusted according to the directions of the sun rays. And let's talk about the solar water heater. This is one of the, you can say, maximum. This has been used on a larger scale. So now you can see the solar heater on every high you can say buildings, on every buildings, or in alternative homes you can see this solar water heater. So what has been happening here, all the water is you can just warm up the water with the help of solar heater. And how it works, you know it. Let me talk about solar furnace. This is new to you. I just wanted to talk about this only, solar furnace, right? So in solar furnace, small mirrors have been basically arranged in a concave reflector, and this collect all the solar heat and produces a temperature of around 3000 degrees Celsius. So we have been using the solar furnace for making the CNT, carbon nanotubes and all. So ना nano materials जहाँ हमको बनाने रहते हैं ना, तो we use this nanoparticles. Nanoparticles. So this is very much छोटा सा रहता है, size बहुत छोटा रहता है, and we can generate very high temperature. So nanoparticles के लिए this type of furnace is very much important, है ना? So we are using solar furnace for uh, you can say synthesizing nanoparticles, up to a temperature of 3000 degree Celsius. Then we have solar power plant. So here all the solar energy is being harnessing on a very large scale by using concave reflectors. आप please ये word याद रखिएगा, concave. ये सारे concave reflectors, which causes basically the water to boil and it produces steam, and the steam indirectly or you can say directly it drives the turbine, and which generates or which produces electricity. So in India, we have a solar power plant which has been there in Haryana. Okay, uh, in Haryana, you can write it down. In Haryana, this is there, and वो जगह का नाम क्या है? It's Gurgaon, I suppose. Yes, it's Gurgaon. It's in Gurgaon. Okay, in Haryana. So let's talk about wind energy. You have started this about wind energy, the pros and cons in semester one. So just brushing up small things regarding the wind energy. So we know high speed wind has lots of kinetic energy, and so the driving force of the wind is the sun, right? Because of the sun, the wind is having lots of kinetic energy. So this energy can be easily hastened, or it can be um, made into some other useful products, or for generation of electricity. It can be used by installing windmills. So what is windmills? It is nothing but a number of blades. We install blades, and the blades basically they rotate continuously due to the striking force of the wind, and the rotational motion of the blade they drive the machineries like water pump, then electric generator, floor mills, so on and so forth. So we convert the wind energy into electricity. Okay, so large amount of wind mills अगर एक जगह इंस्टॉल कर देते हैं अगर हम लोग, तो what will happen is we are going to generate nothing but a wind farm. Okay, okay. So wind farm basically they feed the power to the utility grid, and it produces large amount of water. But ये ध्यान में रखना है कि wind farm होते कहाँ पर है. Wind farm basically ये होते हैं coastal region में, याद रखिएगा, coastal regions ना. पहला तो कोस्टल रीजन में रहेंगे, देन ओपन और हिली एरियाज. ओपन एरियाज रहेंगे, ओपन ग्रासलैंड या हिली एरियाज. ओके, हिली एरियाज यहाँ पर आपको बहुत ज़्यादा मिलेगी विंड्स. सो द मिनिमम स्पीड ऑफ अ विंड which has been required for its converting the energy is 15 किलोमीटर्स पर आवर. इससे अगर कम स्पीड में रहेगी तो हमारा विंड मिल लगाना और विंड फार्म बनाने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. सो एडवांटेज हम बात करते हैं इन जस्ट फ्यू वर्ड्स. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एडवांटेज, we have been using wind energy just to generate the power or to generate electricity. बट इसके साथ डिसएडवांटेजेस बहुत सारे जुड़े हैं. सबसे बड़ा है वो है पावर वेस्टेज. पावर वेस्टेज, व्हाई आई एम बीन यूजिंग द वर्ड पावर वेस्टेज. पावर वेस्टेज, वी नीड स्टेप अप स्टेप डाउन ट्रांसफार्मर्स, क्योंकि विंड फार्म्स जो रहते हैं ना वो सिटी में नहीं रहते, सिटी से काफ़ी दूर रहते हैं. तो सिटी तक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी अगर आपको पहुंचानी है तो वी नीड टू हैव स्टेप अप एंड स्टेप डाउन ट्रांसफार्मर्स. सो इट इज़ अल्टीमेटली दिस बिकम कॉस्टली. देन इतना बड़ा आपको विंड फार्म बनाना है तो डिफॉरेस्टेशन हैज़ टू बी देयर. डिफॉरेस्टेशन है मतलब फ्लोरा फौना गायब हो गया. फ्लोरा फौना गायब हो गया यानी कि रिहैबिलिटेशन. यस, देन एनिमल्स एंड फ्लोरा दे बिकम एक्सटिंक्ट. बहुत सारे इश्यूज हैं, पूरे एक के पीछे एक लगे रहेंगे. देन दीज वी बेसिकली लूज द माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स, है ना, बिकॉज माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स उनको दे हैव अ हैबिट ऑफ फॉलोइंग द विंड. सो बीच में अगर हम ये लगा देंगे विंड मिल्स तो माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स जो है they'll die or they have been killed because of the windmills. No doubt, since बहुत दूर दूर है और it is open to the atmosphere, it requires very high maintenance. So बहुत सारे इसमें pros, एडवांटेज तो है पावर जनरेशन इज बीन डन, बट इसके डिसएडवांटेज बहुत ज़्यादा है. बट स्टिल it is good for generation of you can say electricity. So in India, the largest wind farm is near Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu. ये याद रखेंगे, it is in Tamil Nadu, Kanyakumari, right? And it is roughly generating 390 approximately, I'm saying, megawatt of electricity, megawatt unit of electricity, right? It is in Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu. Okay. And एक और advantage है no pollution, you can say. It is a green source, green energy. वो भी आप लिख लें, मैंने लिखा नहीं है, green energy. Then no pollution, बहुत सारा चीज़ें हैं इसमें. इंस्टॉलेशन कॉस्ट इज वेरी हाई, मेंटेनेंस भी हाई है ना. सो नो पोल्यूशन, ग्रीन क्लीन, so source of energy. Fine, let's talk about tidal energy. अभी tidal energy, ocean tides, they are being produced by the gravitational force of sun and the moon, and it contains this ocean tidal energy. It contains very large amount of energy, right? So the high tide and the low tide, it has been like it is nothing but the rise and the fall of the water in the ocean. A difference in the meter, a difference in several meters is required between the height of the high tide and the low tide. So ऐसा बोला जाता है कि रफली 17 से 18 मीटर की टाइड का डिफरेंस होना चाहिए. लो टाइड एंड हाई टाइड में कितना मीटर का डिफरेंस होना चाहिए? रफली 18 मीटर्स का. अगर इतना रहेगा देन ओनली विल बी एबल टू एक्सट्रैक्ट द एनर्जी फ्रॉम दी टाइड्स. ओके. सो इसमें भी आपने देखा होगा कि इसमें होता कैसा है. एक्चुअली यहाँ पर क्या रहता है, वी हैव द सी, यहाँ सी, यहाँ हाई टाइड्स आती है. तो ये हाई टाइड्स है ना, यहाँ पर एक टाइडल वो बना लेते हैं, टाइड और थोड़ा बड़ा बना लेती हूँ. सो एक बड़ा सा एक वो बना लेते हैं टावर जैसा. हाई टाइड्स आती है ना तो ये सारा पानी ना इधर आ जाता है. फाइन. एंड जब हाई टाइड्स रहती हैं तो यहाँ पर ना ऐसा वो लगा रहते हैं, ब्लेड्स लगे रहते हैं. तो वो मूव करते हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली यहाँ से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट होती रहती है. फाइन. एंड आफ्टर कुछ समय, क्योंकि हाई टाइड विल नॉट बी देयर ऑलवेज, सो आफ्टर सर्टन टाइम्स क्या होता है, जब टाइड कम हो जाती है तो इतने ये एरिया में, दिस एरिया, यहाँ पर क्या हो जाएगा, वो पानी भर जाता है. सो उसको हम रिलीज कर देते हैं, इट कम्स बैक इनटू द सी. उस समय भी ये जो आपके ब्लेड्स लगे रहते हैं, दे ऑल्सो मूव, दे रोटेट. ओके. एंड इट जनरेट्स व्हाट, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. ऐसा भी हो सकता है और आप ऐसा भी देख सकते हैं इसको अलग उसमें कि हाई टाइड रहेगा जब ना, जब हाई टाइड रहता है तो यहाँ पर हमने वो लगा के रखा है ऐसा बैरिकेड जैसा है. तो यहाँ से पूरा पानी जो है वो इधर आ जाता है हाई टाइड में, राइट. तो ये तब भी मूव करते हैं ब्लेड्स हाई टाइड के समय, और जब पानी यहाँ से हम रिलीज करते हैं तब भी ये मूव करते हैं. So in this way, we basically do what? Nothing but we do generate, we can say, energy here. So the Bay of Fundy in Canada, uh, that is one of the like it is generating 5,000 megawatt of energy power generation. Okay. So in India, Gulf of Cambay, Gulf of Kutch, and Sundarban deltas are the tidal power, you can say tidal power sites. कौन से रहेंगे आप लिख लेंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा. Gulf of Cambay, CAMBY, Gulf of Cambay, then Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Kutch, and then we have Sundarban deltas जो हैं. So they are nothing but the tidal sites for India. Okay. Now let us talk about OTE. OTE is nothing but ocean thermal energy. अब ये OTE में भी आप देखेंगे कुछ नहीं है. एक्चुअली यहाँ पर क्या रहता है कि द एनर्जी अवेलेबल ड्यू टू द डिफरेंस इन द temperature of water at the surface of the tropical ocean and at the deeper level is known as ocean thermal energy. So roughly 20 degree Celsius का अगर difference रहेगा तभी हम will be able to get the ocean thermal energy. We can harness or we can just extract the energy from this. ठीक है. Fine. The warm surface water of ocean is used to boil, no? uh, uh, boil a liquid like ammonia. So this process keeps on 24 hours चलता रहता है because the temperature varies from it depends upon again on the sun and on the weather. So this is one of the good way from where we can generate electricity also, but this is a costly one. Why? Because we are using salty water. Ocean की बात कर रहे हैं हम, ocean thermal energy. तो यहाँ जो भी हम instrument install करेंगे that will corrode, है ना, तो automatically maintenance cost जो रहेगा ना that will increase. So we need to be very much you can see thoughtful in using this ocean thermal energy. Let's talk about geothermal energy. So this is the energy which is being hastened from the hot rocks present inside the earth. and it is known as geothermal energy. So high temperature and high pressure steam fields are like present below the earth's surface in many places. So they are also been known as natural geyser, है ना, वहाँ पर गर्म पानी निकलता है. तो in India we have natural geysers in Kullu, and then Suhana in Haryana, and there is Manikaran is there, है ना, वहाँ पर ये सब है. फॉरेन कंट्रीज में भी है, इन यूएसए है, न्यूजीलैंड में है, where they have been using this geothermal power plant and it has been working very much successfully. In India थोड़ा सा इशू है, बिकॉज थोड़ा सा दूर हो जाता है, तो वहाँ से एनर्जी हासिल करके सिटी में लाने में कॉस्ट ऑफ एनर्जी बेसिकली increases. So this is again one of a very good sources of energy which is free of cost available in nature. Well, let's talk about the another energy form, that is biomass energy. So what is biomass? Biomass means the energy which has been related to the organic matter, है ना, which has been produced by animal or plant, and it includes everything: the waste, the wood, the crop residue, the sewage, the agricultural waste, so on and so forth, the household waste, everything, which includes all the organic parts, right? सो बायोमास एनर्जीज ऑफ थ्री टाइप. कहाँ से आती हैं आपको ये बायोमास एनर्जी? तीन जगह से मिलेंगी. द फर्स्ट वन इज एनर्जी प्लांटेशन, राइट. सेकेंड वन इज पेट्रोक्रॉप्स एंड द थर्ड वन इज एग्रीकल्चरल एंड अर्बन वेस्ट बायोमास. तो आपको ये तो एनर्जी प्लांटेशन से आपको पता ही होगा ना, व्हाट इज एनर्जी प्लांटेशन. सो एक्चुअली दिस इज द प्लांटेशन इन विच द मतलब होता क्या है कि ऑल द ग्रीन प्लांट्स दे हैव द हैबिट ऑफ गोइंग with the process of photosynthesis, in which they trap the solar energy, right, and it they convert it into food, and the food it is being stored. So we have trees like cottonwood, then we have non-woody herb grass, then we have crops like sugarcane, then seaweeds are there, then potatoes, cereals. So these are the energy, you can say, energy plantation. So either we produce the energy directly from them, or we convert those into some other. For example, I just wanted to tell you here कि अगर मैं suppose starch लेती हूँ ना, starch कहाँ से मिलेगा? Potatoes, right? And I convert the starch into alcohol. So what I'm doing is I'm generating energy, right? Yes. So energy plantation is like that. Okay, fine. Then sugarcane, again sugarcane लेते हैं, तो again I'm been converting that into alcohol. So we are producing energy. और क्या बता सकते हैं, जैसे cotton wood हुआ. So we can convert that into paper and then we can have energy. Okay. Then let us talk about petrocrops. Petrocrops matlab these are the crop that is been it contains rich hydrocarbon, and they basically give us substances like oil. Petro matlab oil, है ना, oil like substances. It is being given by these petrocrops, and under high temperature and pressure we can extract the oil, and that can be like refined, and we can convert that into gasoline. So they are known as petrocrops. ये मैंने आपको सेमेस्टर वन में भी पढ़ाया था. इफ़ यू रिमेंबर वी हैव स्टडीड अबाउट बायोडीजल, है ना, डीजोहॉल, गैसोहॉल, तो उसमें हमने पेट्रोक्रॉप्स ही यूज़ करा था. ओके, फाइन. Then talking about agricultural and urban waste, so we get so many waste from agriculture and we get urban bio waste, है ना, अर्बन बायोमास वेस्ट. सो क्रॉप रेसिड्यू जो है, कोकोनट शेल है, देन कॉटन स्टॉक्स है, सो दे ऑल आर बीन यूज फॉर बर्निंग. देन वी हैव एनिमल डंग, फिशरी, पोल्ट्री वेस्ट, ह्यूमन एक्सक्रीटा. They all basically forms nothing but biomass energy. So in India, we have basically been using the chulas, है ना, to get the energy from the biomass. So it is good source, है ना, cheap है, good भी है, but it is creating a lot of pollution if it is not been properly utilized. So in order to get maximum biomass energy, we need to go with the biogas, है ना. So biogas is nothing but it's a mixture of methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. And no doubt methane is the major constituent, right? So it is being produced by the anaerobic degradation of animal waste, and no doubt sometimes we add plant waste also, and we do get biogas. So when we use biogas, automatically the pollution is being decreased and maximum utility of biogas or biomass is being done. So biogas is basically been a non-polluting, clean and low-cost fuel, and it has been available in rural areas only because there since lot of animals have been there, so agricultural waste and animal waste is can be incorporated. So we know that India is the largest cattle rearing, or it is a nation where we see the largest cattle population. So we have a tremendous potential for biogas production. Fine. So advantages तो बहुत सारे हैं इसमें. You know what are the advantages of biogas? Let me talk about the type of the biogas here. So we have two types of biogas. You should know that: floating gas holder type biogas plant and fixed dome type biogas plant. So ये आप खुद देख सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं. थोड़ा सा आपको पता है, ये आप लोग ने मेरे ख्याल से 9th 6 to 9 स्टैंडर्ड में कहीं ना कहीं ये सब पढ़ा होगा. ये सारा पड़ा है. फ्लोटिंग टाइप करना कुछ नहीं है. फ्लोटिंग मीन्स द होल्डर और द डोम इज फ्लोटिंग. फ्लोट कैसे कर रहा है? जैसे जैसे गैस इंक्रीज होगी, प्रोडक्शन गैस का इंक्रीज होगा, तो जो डोम रहेगा ना वो ऊपर आ जाता है. दैट्स ऑल. राइट. एंड फिक्स्ड में क्या है? द डोम है ना जो, वो फिक्स्ड बना हुआ है, वो बाहर कुछ भी इसको होता नहीं. और यहाँ पर कैसे रहेगा कि डोम जो है ना फ्लोट करता है, ऊपर नीचे होता है. जैसे गैस कम हो जाएगी ऑटोमेटिकली ड्यू टू द वेट, द डोम कम्स डाउन. जैसे गैस बनेगी तो इट लिफ्ट्स इट अप. सो दैट इज ओनली द फ्लोटिंग गैस. एंड यही चीज़ है और कुछ नहीं है. Right. So that's all we have for today's class. In tomorrow's lecture, I will be talking about the other sources of energy like hydrogen, the coal, the petrol, natural gas, and nuclear fuel. With that, if possible, time permits, I'll be talking about the last resources, that is the land resource. And in the next class, I'll be talking about how we can do the conservation of natural resources. As a human being, what should be the role? As a student, what should be your role? Okay, thank you. So, sharing with you the references, and thank you so much. Do like and subscribe to my channel so that all the new which has been uploaded, all the new lectures which has been uploaded, it has been intimated to you. The link for attendance will be shared in few minutes in your respective WhatsApp classroom. Do answer. Thank you.